Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, February 14th. So the moon is going to be in Cancer all morning, and then we are locking into Leo energy, preparing us for the full moon in Leo that we are going to be having on the 16th. So the better part of the wee hours of the morning are going to be spent in Cancer and energy. Again, highly sensitive, very retreating in our realms, concentrated on the comfortability of the familiar environment that we've created in our home life. And then once the moon goes void, of course, around 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to feel a little bit shaky, a little bit unstable, a little bit confused. Once we actually lock into this Leo energy around 6:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're definitely going to be feeling a little bit bold, a little bit brave, a little bit more forward thinking and positive. This is the first fire energy that we've had in the cosmos in a very long time. So it is a little bit of a pick-me-up. There are 7 different aspects taking place here today, and 5 of them involve this moon. So we are definitely in the full moon window. We have to expect that things are going to intensify because we are reaching a boiling point. Many of us have been standing back, biting our tongues, trying to hold all the information, all the truth within ourselves, really trying to kind of prevent an overflow of emotion. But let me tell you, as we gain momentum to this peak energy, this full moon on the 16th, we are going to find ourselves overly expressive, overly emotional. And of course, it's up to us on what kind of emotions we are actually going to be channeling out, how we're going to channel them, and whether or not we are going to stand in our power or we're going to retreat as the cowardly lion. That, of course, is the shadow part of Leo energy. So the moon right out of the gate is going to oppose Pluto. Now, let me tell you, the moon is still in Cancer at this point, Pluto being in Capricorn energy. And this opposition is really putting us at odds with where it is that we're being asked to make a major move, where it is that we're being asked to make a major transformation. Pluto, of course, is the great transformer. He does kind of throw a lot of darkness at us. He does kind of show us our pain and our suffering in hopes that we will use that as motivation and inspiration to actually move away from that toxic cycle, from those old elements, and create a change in our realms to encourage us to stand in our power. The moon is going to sextile the true node, and this is a good energy because the true node is trying to get us on the right path on where it is that we want to be, where it is that we need to be to actually bring the new elements into our perspective, into our reality. The moon sextiling the true node, though, is giving us an opportunity to break away from the past. Of course, we've been very overly attached to old memories and old constructs and old ideas and old behaviors while the moon has been in Cancer, and now we're starting to see, yep, okay, I'm willing to change a couple of things. Why? Because I've had my boundaries tested. Why? Because my home and my family dynamic is falling apart. Why? Because I'm now being encouraged to stop playing it safe, stop dimming my light, and actually stand in my power. And that's going to require me to make a dramatic shift in my life. And of course, we're getting one step closer to where it is that we actually want to be. That true node is showing us this is the path that you're now being asked to pursue. Now, the moon, before going void, of course, before moving out of the Cancer and energy, before locking in to that Leo energy, is going to oppose Mercury. Now, this is the last aspect that Mercury is going to make while in Capricorn energy. Again, at the 29th critical degree, we got a lot of pressure in our heads. We are thinking a lot of thoughts. We have a lot of ideas. Many of us are going to be hella confused, hella congested in our mental plane. There is essentially a tug of war going on between our heart space, which the moon represents, and our head space, which Mercury represents. The good thing is that we are about to bust out of this negative narrative that we've been in, these darker thoughts, these darker energies that have really been consuming our mental plane as we move into Aquarian energy. So this particular opposition is really going to put us at odds with ourselves. The power struggle is going to be very strong because, of course, the moon in Cancer wants everything to stay the same, even though it's uncomfortable as hell. And Mercury, well, Mercury in Capricorn is tired tired of everything being the same. We want to improve. We want to be productive. We want to make a change. We want to move. We have a lot of new ideas coming in. We have been stalled out for far too long. And this particular energy does put us in a position to speak our truth. And again, being in the full moon Leo window, this is all about reaching a boiling point where we actually express ourselves in the raw, authentic, powerful version that we've been hesitating to actually stand in. The moon is going to harmoniously bump into Jupiter. Jupiter, of course, is in Pisces. He wants us to grow. He wants us to expand. He wants us to see the silver linings. He wants us to see the possibilities of the future, especially when we lean all the way into our spiritual selves, our higher selves, when we trust our intuition. At this particular point, this is the moon in Leo, giving us fire, giving us passion, giving us bravery and courage to do what it is that we know that we had to do that we weren't brave enough to actually do. This is definitely going to put a huge focus on our emotions, definitely put us in a position to actually express our new thoughts, our dreams, our goals, our emotions, what we've been going through. And this is definitely going to push us in the right direction, taking a step in the right direction to where it is that the spiritual lessons that have been thrown at us are encouraging us to grow, to change, to transform. At this particular point in the day, early evening, we have Mercury moving into Aquarius. So I'm definitely going to recommend that you go ahead, you listen to this astro event that I dove into the details about, but a little bit of a refresher. First of all, we've had this Mercury in Aquarian energy before. It actually started back in January. Mercury moved into Aquarius. It stayed in Aquarius until it went retrograde, crept back through the Aquarian energy, snuck back into Capricorn energy, sat there until Mercury went direct. Now Mercury has been retracing his steps, trying to piece together all the epiphanies that he had in the underworld. And this is where the negative, darker thoughts come from, because that Capricorn energy is a little bit of a negative Nancy. Mercury moving into Aquarius is going to give us a lot of new ideas, is going to free us from that dark train of thought, definitely put us in a position to start talking and thinking a little bit more about the plans that we have to initiate in order to gain a bigger, broader perspective on the possibilities of where it is that we're now going to go in the future direction. We've had a lot of information thrown at us since the beginning of January. This particular energy is going to help sort it all out, is definitely going to show us the big, broad picture of why all of the things had to happen in the way that they did, and give us a new idea, a new inspiration to actually run with. Pluto is going to trine the true node. This is a beautiful energy for a lot of reasons. First of all, Pluto is the great transformer. A trine is a beautiful energy. It means that the energies are working together. The true node is our destiny point, which means that we are finally shifting into movement, into action. We are finally feeling mind, body, and soul where it is that we are ready and prepared to move forward in our new path, in our new passion, in our new pursuit for new dreams, new elements, new goals. This is going to be a very transformative time. This is going to be a beautiful foundation to be building right before the full moon in Leo. We are definitely going to feel an intense energy shift within ourselves and in our physical realms. We wrap up the day with the moon making a not so nice aspect with Neptune. But of course, this is going to be, again, may I remind you, every single time we take one step forward, those darker force energies want to suck us back. Now, the moon bumping into Neptune in this way is definitely going to put us at odds with ourselves. Why? Because the moon in Leo wants to stay here in the present moment. This is very ego-based. What do we want now? How can we change now? How can we express ourselves now? And of course, that Neptune energy is anything but the present moment. It's dreams, it's illusions of the future, it's our higher self, it's everything that we can't put our finger on. It is intuition coming in. It is insights coming in that the moon in Leo doesn't know what to do with. Of course, this is a good energy for us to realize where it is that we're not in alignment with our higher selves and our ego, our heart and our head. But this, again, all of these not so nice aspects are created in order for us to have a brand new realization on where it is that we're being asked to go from here. If you've been listening to this whole forecast wondering why I haven't mentioned Valentine's Day, that is for good reason. If you have not listened to this week's Ascension forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do that. But basically, if you believe in this day, if you want to love, you go right ahead. I support that. But generally speaking, it is another energy sucking day that will feed the darker force energies. It's another commercialized day that, the capitalistic industry sucks us into. But I'm not trying to suck the fun out of it. If you are somebody that believes in this day and wants to celebrate love, I support that. I think every day is a beautiful day to support love. We definitely don't need a day with a historic, pretty dark, actually, historic background on this day. I definitely recommend you do your research and see what this day is all about. But for those of you that I know would come at me saying, well, how come you didn't talk about Valentine's Day? Well, that's why. I don't believe in it. It's not that I don't believe in love. I just don't believe in commercialized days. I also don't support dark force energy agenda days to feed off of the energy in which we create. So be very mindful with the energy that you're creating here today and just recognize that every day should be a celebration of love.